As far as the first two games of the season are concerned, I've liked for the most part what I've seen from the defense. I think we've shown tremendous growth from last season, and I think the possibilities are really exciting. The team and the defense as a whole. Obviously we played Army really well. We didn't play Wake Forest as well as we hoped to, but when you get in the film room, you see a lot of things in the Wake Forest game that just kind of hint at what we can be. A lot of plays that were almost made that could have, turned the tides. And I think when you look at things like Coach Bloom mentioned, giving up the 14 quick points, but battling back with a stop and getting us back to that 14 type game shows a resilience that we didn't have as a defense last year, in my opinion. And I think we've played really stout against the run, minus a player or two in the two games. Obviously, I think we all know that we're playing on the ability too. But that's our mission, is to try and stop the run, and for the most part we're doing a good job of that, but we have to continue getting better. The game against Texas, it obviously all means a lot to us all here. Me personally, my kind of first football memory is USC versus Texas in the Rose Bowl. Vince Young versus Reggie Bush, and that kind of broke my heart as a Cali kid voting for USC, so I've never really forgiven them for that. This is my chance to get even, hopefully. But it's a big game. We all want to show what we can do, and we're excited for the possibilities.
Questions?
Like, how old were you when you were listening?
Shoot. I had to have been younger than 6 or 7. It was like, when I say it was my first football memory, literally, it's probably the youngest memory I had, period. But it was not even understanding the game of football, just knowing Reggie Bush was a dog. And watching it with my older brother and kind of mirroring his reactions whenever something happened.
Well, since you brought that up, can you talk about the emotions from that game that you kind of went through?
I mean, it was a roller coaster. Kind of like football games tend to be. I remember, USC just battling, and I just remember the goal line play. It's my most vivid memory. Vince Young, I think they were on like the 3 or 4 yard line, and it was just close, and they managed to punch it in, and that was finally when I broke down. Tears, the hissy fit that kids throw, and hopefully you don't see that kind of reaction from me when and if Texas scores a touchdown this weekend. But yeah, it was a fun time. I think it played a major role in my passion and love for the game. Those kind of memories.
Can you see yourself this weekend maybe making a stop on a play like that at the goal line?
Oh yeah. I think visualization and making big plays is the first step to making them. So I feel like I space out a lot. Just in general, I can be like a spacey guy, and 99% of those daydreams are just making big plays in football. So I've already envisioned it a few times.
It's good.
Blaze, what's the balance between playing with emotion and at the same time, kind of like Coach alludes to, process-oriented and being mentally under control?
Well, I think for different players, there's different balances. Obviously a quarterback and a linebacker are going to have different levels of emotion that they're allowed to play with, and then even different from a defensive lineman. But for me, playing with emotion is great, and as long as I don't let it override and keep me from doing my job, the more emotion I have, the better.
You talk about growth. Where do you feel like using most of it?
I think it's going to start in something that's not a tangible stat, and I'm going to say confidence. Last year, I think, there were times where we just felt like we couldn't stop people, no matter what we did. And, this year, we just don't have that feeling at all, When you give up a quick 14 to Wake Forest, and it's easy to go to your sideline and go, dang, we just can't stop these guys. Whereas instead, it's an organized huddle where we're talking like, okay, like we missed these and these assignments. Like, here's what we have to sharpen up to get the stops. And, ultimately we were able to do it a few times, but not as many times as we'd like. So that's been our biggest growth. I think we've grown a lot at the linebacker room from a position group that was maybe in question last season to hopefully one that the coaches are confident in to do their jobs and to make an impact on defense.
So what's changed that has gotten you to that place of confidence? What do you guys do?
Well, year 2 in the system always helps. Just more time learning the defenses, getting comfortable with it. You think less and you play faster. Things become more instinctual, which is always a good thing defensively. I think that we've grown together as a unit, and trusting other guys to do their job makes it a lot easier to do yours. It's really just the little things every day that become the big things. My coach, Coach Vessel, was telling us that, and really all the defensive coaches were saying it in the last meeting, that as you go up levels of competition, from high school, college to the pros, the small things become bigger things because there's less of a talent gap. In high school, there's obviously the one good player that can carry a team. It doesn't really matter what he does, if he plays with bad technique, if he doesn't play assignment sound. And you see less of that in the college level and even less of that at the pro level. So we've just gotten better at doing the small things every day, from film room to practice to the game.